A big win for 45-year-old Venus Williams. Her victory at the DC Open last night. Her victory at the DC Open last night on Tennis Channel, making her the oldest woman to win on tour since Martina Navratilova in 2004. It was Williams' first official singles match since 2023. And Venus is confirming, by the way, she's engaged to actor and former model Andrea Preti. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly. Be
5 years. Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable here on this Wednesday. Chip Walters with you from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates, and the Blue Raider Network. And, you know, a lot of times we get guests who, I mean, they're easy to talk to and they've got plenty to say. Then there are days, Brian, where you have to, you get somebody and you just have to drag it out of them.
I was going to say,
the shyness.
Then there's today.
And then there's today. Bill Wilson, Mr. Murfreesboro is here, and we were just
thank you, Chip.
We were just corrected out in the lobby by
Joe Carr,
the county mayor, who says that we're not supposed to call Bill Mr. Murfreesboro. That was Tommy Martin,
and then
John Hood was Mr. Murfreesboro Jr. So the county mayor's now calling you Trey. For the being the Mr. Murfreesboro the third.
He started that yesterday at the builders' breakfast. I said that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
but that whole
if I were you, I'd embrace that.
Yeah, just change it to Trey. Then Trey Randolph may not like that.
Well, that's true, but there are other folks who are the third out there,
right.
Whatever. But,
that's right.
But you could be MM3.
MM3.
There you go. MM3, Mr. Murfreesboro the third. So, but speaking of that's one of the rabbit holes I wanted to go down today.
Do I get to talk, Chip?
Okay, yeah. You talk about the pot calling the kettle black. there we go.
Where did Mr. Murfreesboro start?
Where did you?
Well, let me tell you.
Take us down that hole.
Okay, you already mentioned Tommy Martin, who was a great man. A lot of people don't realize that Murfreesboro, the way it looks today, you can attribute it to Tommy Martin and other businessmen of those days, because Tommy was a gentleman who had an insurance business. It was Mutual of New York, and if you ever ran into him, he was like an ambassador of goodwill. You'd see him, he'd say something to the effect that Jesus loves you. If nobody's told you they love you, Jesus loves you, and I do too. Something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was good friends with my grandfather Wilson, who was the local sheriff and road superintendent, and they were all buddies back in the day. Well, a lot of people don't realize that Mr. Murfreesboro, Tommy Martin, helped recruit companies here like State Farm, GE, which you don't
I remember the GE plant.
Chroma-Lots, where the Boys and Girls
Right.
Club is.
The GE plant was out Broad Street on the right.
It's been torn down now.
It was out there. It was out there near the Marlboro Drive-In.
It was right before you get to it.
That's
now,
right.
Now, how would you remember that, Chip?
I'm
did you work
old.
there?
No.
Popcorn, peanuts.
No, I was involved in those $5 carloads from time to time.
You and me both.
Yeah.
But Tommy was just a great guy, and he exhibited. He was very, what I will say, Christ-like. He was a public servant, a good businessman, but wherever you just wanted to be around him. I mean, he was just a good dude.
Magnetic personality.
Magnetic. But, and I always joke, and, since the traffic problems, we can, kind of thank him. I'm just kidding. The Nissan, he helped recruit Nissan. So jobs, the quality of life, he was one of the businessmen that helped bring business here through the Chamber of Commerce and in different ways. But because he and Granddaddy were good friends, I grew up here with Tommy's grandchildren, like Hunter McFarland, who also was in the insurance business, and then Dr. Bryn Martin, who I think is the head of the history department at MTSU. We all went to campus school together, high school, college, all that, and good friends. So when I started in March of 2015, it was before that, I was like, I want to start a page called Mr. Murfreesboro and have it be like a moniker or be something to the effect, people want to hear, but we have so much bad news. How about some good news, And I'm a big history buff, and I love telling stories. And so what I did, I took Hunter McFarland. We went to lunch, and I wanted to get it okay from the family before I did that. So Hunter and I went to, it was B. McNeil's at the time, which was the old phone company back in the early 1900s that my grandfather was a manager of back in those days. But anyway, so Hunter and I go to lunch, and we're eating. I was like, Hunter, I'd like to start a page called Mr. Murfreesboro. And I said, but of course I had to follow it up with, I'm not going to do it unless you and the family say it's okay. What are your thoughts? And Hunter said, I think that'd be great. So it was like March 15th of 2015 when it started. Now, since
10 years. We're celebrating 10 years.
So 10 years, a little over 10 years.
Wow, it seems so much longer. No, just
you're right. But, when you're Mr. Murfreesboro, which it's really Tommy Martin.
Right.
I've had a lot of fun. I've met thousands of people. I've had a radio show here. I've had I do a column in the Murfreesboro Pulse, just telling people stories. That's all I do is tell stories, and try to hold on to the history.
And then, and to kind of further that along a little bit, to give the full credit of Joe Carr's story, when Mr. Martin passed away.
Yes.
John Hood was kind of waiting in the wings as not only a state legislator.
Everything.
He worked at the first time I ever met John, it was at the bank at Murfreesboro Bank and Trust, and then so many other things that he has done, and I saw John not too long ago. I was out went by. Well, no, not it was right after his birthday. I think it was. They were having a field day out at Adams Place, and the MTSU the MTSU men's basketball team was out there manning the slip and slide for the residents, and I was thinking when I first heard this that they were going to do a slip and slide at Adams Place, I said, is this a good idea? But as it turned out, it was really neat, and the Murfreesboro Fire Department was involved to and John now in his 90s. Was
94, I think.
Was there at the slip and slide. So he's and I'll run into him every once in a while out having lunch or somewhere. But it's and I've been threatening and wanting to go out there and actually do a show. He said he's happy to do this show one day out at Adams Place. And we're going to do that here before too long. Great. And I don't want to wait too late. I want to get out there and do that. I'm going to do that this fall. And
that'd be
school
great.
starts, and I'll go out there and do it one day, and we'll have it right there, because I mean Truman used to do this show out there every day, and so
even during COVID, I remember.
That's right. But John really took that mantle as well. And,
yes,
and you know, there's so many pictures and stuff of John being that ambassador in Mr. Murfreesboro. The one I still think of is the photo, I mean, where he looks like Dash Riprock. I mean, dressed up, greeting Bob Hope.
I did a post on that last week.
I know that's
that?
what reminded me about that. But you know, John was there looking better than Bob Hope was when Bob Hope was coming to open up Murphy Center.
Right. I have a picture of John when Granddaddy was sheriff.
Yeah.
And see, John and my dad grew up together. They were neighbors when they were kids on North Church Street back in the 30s. But I have a picture of John where my grandfather's busting a steel, okay, which is, moonshine. Yeah. And John is there with the microphone, WGNS. He's got his cool Ray-Ban sunglasses, and he's interviewing. That was big news.
I know. And
if there's anything to do with Murfreesboro, for sure, John Hood. That's the first person you think of.
And John and I have done the same job. He did the Blue Raider games on radio at one point, and I know up here at the station out in the lobby, and I think it's on the history page of the website. The picture of young John Hood at Seward Air Force Base. On stage doing the live broadcast of a big band show at the air base that was on the Liberty Broadcasting Network.
Right.
and there's John, probably in college at the time. So just a shout out to John this morning.
John, if you're listening, we appreciate you, everything that you've done. And he has a son.
Appreciate his friendship as much as anything.
His son Gary was a big producer of the Academy. I mean, big time.
Well, Gary,
and there's Mark too.
Gary, Mark has left his mark in the mortgage business here in town.
He's a good guy.
Gary lives back in Franklin now, and Gary Hood, he
went to Central.
I'm making notes of good guests here.
Okay,
but Gary Hood, grew up here, went to middle.
Yeah,
he. His big job, he was stage manager for a lot of these
award shows.
The Academy Awards,
Grammy.
the Grammys, and when we 13 years ago, when we started the Raiders Choice Awards, which was
I remember
we still have it, and it's there was we got to thinking, okay, instead of a just end of the year banquet, have a fun night, have an award show, and that kind of thing. Gary came in and helped us set it up the first time, and told us, here's how you do. Here's some things to do to help make this thing run well, and so Gary
he'd be a great guest.
Always been there, and that's right. And so he's
grew up here.
That's correct, and he's
and John has a daughter too.
Yeah.
I should know her name. But I'll tell you a true story. I was the sign man. If you called John up and say, "Who's your sign man?" he'd say Bill Wilson when he ran for state rep.
Yeah.
And who he ran against was Howard Wall. One of the times, which everybody knows, and he was a great businessman and civically, helped out around here. Howard, when I started out in real estate, when John hired me, John Jones, and helped when he first started out his real estate company, my office was connected to Howard's.
Right. Okay.
So I had a door that led from the hallway in, and there was a door leading. At one time, I don't know whose office it was, but it was real awkward for me because I was John Hood's sign man who was running
against Howard.
And Howard would come in.
So John ran as a Democrat, and Howard ran as a Republican.
And if I have it right, they're distant cousins.
Okay, that's not surprising.
But anyway, Howard was like, "How's the election going?" Or this, and that. It was just kind of awkward. But yeah, I was John
Poochie.
Poochie was a trip. But I was John's sign man. He always, hey, if he walked in there, hey, sign man.
So when you were the sign, what were you producing the signs, or were you
No,
out on the
I was
stand out on the road?
No.
You weren't the guy twirling a sign like a mattress store, were you?
No, I wasn't that. Hey, I had a group. I had a group that I helped lead, positioning signs throughout the county, through the city. This, you had to call Pearl. You had to call these people, Joe Swan, different ones to say, can we put a sign there? And in the county. So I'm not saying I'm the reason he won, but the whole sign things, I got to meet a lot of people, but John was nice enough to let me do that. So a volunteer job. How's that?
Yeah. And speaking of that, you've never run for office,
No.
but you've kind of been involved in the periphery on some races, right? But and I guess that comes natural from your granddad.
Well, not only my granddad, my dad, my grandfather Wilson was the sheriff here back when Murfreesboro was like Mayberry RFD, Andy Taylor Day, Andy Griffith. Well, he was sheriff in the 50s and 60s, and he was a road superintendent in the 70s before he died. Dad was a county commissioner in the 70s, and he was the chairman of the county commission from like 78 to 80.
So was your dad ever on the county commission while your granddad was the road superintendent?
I think from 70, I think he may have been. That's a good one. But back in those days, believe it or not, Chip, they were called magistrates or squires.
Yeah.
And there was 2 per district. Dad and Jesse Messick, who helped start the Uncle Dave Macon Days,
right,
were on the commission together. But as a kid growing up, my younger brother Dave and I grew up at the courthouse, the jail, and the workhouse, because if you're road superintendent, you were in charge of the workhouse. That's where minor offenders went that went out and did some time. The workhouse, they worked it off.
Right, and that would be the road crews.
I can remember as a kid going out there and having breakfast with deputies and prisoners alike, sitting at the table. There's a prisoner over there. I mean, you wouldn't do that today, but I sat there and had breakfast.
Well, I remember back in the day, I grew up in Murray County. It was very similar.
Culleoka?
No, I was on the north end of the county. So. But it was the same thing there when you had the workhouse. It was not uncommon if a service group was having an event,
right,
that there were county prisoners that came out and helped set it up or help clean up afterwards. That was not uncommon.
It was common.
It was at all. And so those guys, like the mostly it was guys. I'm sure there were gals in there as well, but they all seemed to much rather do that than just
be in jail,
just sit in time.
Right. Right, exactly.
So, but how many terms was your granddad sheriff?
He was sheriff 3 terms. It was a total of like 10 years. So it was like from 56 to 62. So that would have been during Eisenhower, Kennedy. And then from 64 to 68. And back in those days, there was a group of guys.
So somebody had a 2-year term in between.
There was Hall McNabb, I think, Melanie Shipp's father.
Okay.
There was, after Granddaddy, there was Robert Goodwin, then Craig Snell, then Truman Jones, then Robert Arnold, and then when we can talk about this, if we're fixing to take a break, I can tell you some stories. He had the old jail built. He was the sheriff in the old jail that was built in the 1800s. That was on Main Street, near the post office, close to where the post office is. It burnt down, so he had a new jail built.
The one that was on.
It was a juvie center on Main Street.
Right there near Broad. Yeah, right there near Broad Street.
And Granny did not like getting, back in those days, they didn't have cell phones, but they would call the sheriff at home if there was a problem. Granny got tired of getting phone calls at 1 a.m, got somebody drunk, something's going on here.
Otis Campbell down here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that was me. No, I'm just kidding. He had an apartment put in. So Granny, so they could spend the night there. They would wake up and she would cook breakfast for the deputies, the prisoners. That's pretty wild if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
But there was an apartment there where she actually stayed.
Your grandmother.
Yes.
And she would be the one who would fix
She
breakfast.
would help every once in a while and cook. And I'll tell you a funny story. I was on a well, we can talk about when
we'll
we come
do that
back.
when we come back.
Yeah.
That's called a tease, and we'll take a break. Be more on the Roundtable. Bill Wilson here today, right here on the Big G, WGNS.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
When the weather turns bad, minutes, even seconds matter.
This is an early heads up for southern Rutherford County.
Rutherford Weather brings you live radar and expert meteorologist insight, giving you the early heads up when storms threaten.
A lot of areas are going to see some impacts from this storm.
From analysis to live camera views, we keep you informed before, during, and after the storm.
I think the vast majority of the hail with this now is going to be quarter to perhaps golf ball size.
Rutherford Weather. Stay ahead of the storm.
Do you love to read?
Love to read.
Tell us about the library at Adams Place.
We have an amazing library. It's like a library at a big estate. You know, there are just so many books. You just come, pick out one you want, take it home, read it, take it back. It's just great.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. Phone 615-904-9111.
Adams Place on Memorial, across from Walmart.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by Old National Bank, the law offices of John Day, and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
You've probably heard it a million times. If you're injured, call a lawyer. And you probably haven't because you don't know how much it will cost, how long it will take, or even if you have a case. At the law offices of John Day, we provide a free initial consultation because we understand that folks don't want to pay a lawyer only to find out they don't have a case. If you think we can help, we do so on a contingency basis, which means we only get paid if you do. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day. WGNS reminds you this weekend is the sales tax holiday. If you're brand new to Tennessee and have never been through one of the special weekends, no sales tax on clothing that is $100 or less per item. No sales tax on computers that are $1,500 or less per item. And no sales tax on art and school supplies that are $100 or less per item. It's the annual back-to-school sales tax-free holiday, Friday through Sunday throughout Tennessee. The weekend also brings the final presentation of Freaky Friday at the Center for the Arts in Uptown Murfreesboro. It also brings the final Movies Under the Stars. And the free Movies Under the Stars wraps up this week with Soul. The movies start at dark, and you're encouraged to bring blankets and lawn chairs. It's a great summer family adventure from the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Department. And we thank them for all that they do. Don't forget the Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Please
give the gift of life. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
A heat advisory is in effect for the forecast area. We'll see sunny skies here this afternoon, a high in the mid-90s. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 74. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 81.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE serves members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Wednesday Roundtable. Chip Walters here with you from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. MM3, Bill Wilson from Compass Realty here today. We're just kind of going down memory lane, and whatever flies into the off the tongue is what it is today. But your granddad. We were talking about your granddaddy Wilson, and there are a couple of stories. One involved Bigfoot. So
you want me to tell that one?
Okay. Go. I'll lead you down that path.
Back in the day, the way people communicated was, landline phones.
And some had party lines.
Yeah. And sometimes they could listen in. But anyway,
yes.
Wouldn't that be nice today? But anyway, they and the way people communicated, there was no really TV stations or whatever. I mean, it was a luxurious item back in the 50s or so. So you had the radio, you had WGNS. So at one time in the 50s, he had gotten a call from a farmer and his wife out Halls Hill Pike that they had a goat or a sheep that had been mutilated. And they swear that it was Bigfoot. So
they swear.
They said it was a Bigfoot on the, So he goes out there and deputies go out there, and sure enough, there's a mutilated
sheep
farm animal. Let's just say it's a farm animal.
Yeah, okay.
To be correct. And this kept going on, and they kept, like I told you earlier, how they would call. You could call the sheriff at home and say, "Hey, sheriff," and they called, and my grandmother got tired. It was getting on my grandfather's nerves that she kept saying, "Hey, Bill, do something about this."
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's what, he got tired. So it was a brilliant political move on his part. He called Sheriff Simpson. If you're familiar with Halls Hill, he goes Halls Hill Pike, go about 7-8 miles, and then you run into right past Gucci Ford Road. There's Porterfield, which is on the line of Cannon County.
Mm-hmm.
He called Sheriff Simpson and said, "Hey, Sheriff, the Bigfoot or whatever has moved into Cannon County." And there was no more calls coming in. And they say that Sheriff Simpson cussed Bill Wilson to the day because all the phone calls went from him to Cannon County.
Cannon County.
And one other.
So how did he leak that out to WGNS or to the DNJ or somebody that the Bigfoot had moved to Cannon County? And
I'm
to
pretty
let
sure
them know
he did,
that,
but it's in. You can archive it. Pull up Bigfoot, and it's in the Sheriff's Association magazine. It's in. I'm pretty sure it's in the Banner or the there's stories to collaborate this. Another funny story. There was a lot of moonshine being moved around Laverne or somewhere. Well, and he was the first, like, not Barnaby Jones, but he would dress up like a hobo, okay?
While he was sheriff.
Yeah. I've got photos of this. This is another one that made the news. So he goes to Laverne, somewhere by the railroad track. Somebody had some they had a steel. That's to make moonshine. And he was dressed up like a hobo, had this old hat on. I've got a photo
I thought you were going to reference Cannon County again.
No. But he's down there. And what happens is unique in law enforcement history. He got arrested and taken back to his jail. And when they got there, they're like, "You dummy. You idiot. You arrested the sheriff." He got arrested by his own deputies, and he was just, doing undercover
So
work.
he was doing undercover work, trying to break up a moonshine ring, and his own deputies were doing the same. So they brought him in.
They brought him in for questioning. And when they took his hat off,
apparently he had a pretty good he had a pretty good hobo outfit.
Yes, that's what. That's hard to believe, but he was a prankster. He was known to have be at the courthouse. Court's going on. He had a cage that had like an aardvark in it. And when you pull, I know it's crazy, and you pull this thing up, and it would jump out at you. Well,
it was not real.
It wasn't real. No, it was like a hair, and it just jumped out. Well, what happened? Somebody had a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and then the judge, Bill,
it's all fun and games till
take this away.
Somebody's aardvark causes a heart attack.
And John Hood can probably collaborate that if he's listening.
Probably so.
He was quite a character.
Now, when he got out of the sheriff's role and took on the road superintendent job, I'm not sure people understand that the road superintendent job in the 60s and 70s, that was a powerful job.
Yeah, it was. I mean, in charge of building all the roads in Rutherford County.
Yeah.
And I can remember as a kid, my younger brother David and I, Granddad had a red LTD Ford that had one of the first cell phones. He had a radio that he could call into the office, say, "Hey, we need something done here, done there," and had a roller. It was a roller. It was like a Motorola, but we would go out to the rock crusher there on Church Street, across from MT Bottles, and watch them blow up. That was the highlight, was getting to go with Granddaddy to work, so we could watch them blow up rock and make it, that all these big dump trucks, being able to go out and see that and ride in them, and we just thought we were the stuff.
Yeah. Now, when you were little, about what year were you born?
I'll be 60 in March.
Oh, so
I was born in 66.
But he was already done being sheriff by the time
he was sheriff while I was like 2 years.
Okay, so you don't really have any memories, direct memories of that.
I was a 2-year-old maybe, but I do remember him being road superintendent, and when Daddy was the county commissioner and all that stuff. I do remember them having to stop back in the day at the courthouse. There were commissioners smoking cigars. They were doing the budget, doing this, doing that, and then they had to stop some of the meetings because David and I, were running around.
Your brother, yeah,
little heathens, and they would say, "Floyd," they'd stop the meeting. Could you tell Carolyn to come pick up your kids?
Now, talk a little bit about your dad too, because I mean, you come from a long line of guys who have made an impact on the community. You talked a lot about your granddad, but your dad being a commissioner and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, he was a State Farm agent. His bread and butter was he was one of the first State Farm agents here. See, he was with State Farm for like 52 years. And my older brother Mitch was a State Farm agent in Woodbury, and David's still one out here across from Indian Hills. But he was dedicated to his company, to his policyholders, and then because his father was a public servant, I think that's why he wanted to do it, to be like his father. But he was his own man. Dad was quite a character. He'd give his shirt off your back. I mean, he would do anything for anybody. But being a county commissioner, I can remember as a kid, Dave and I, back in those days, they could marry people. I can remember people coming to Mom and Dad's house, and he would do it. He would marry them.
Yeah. Well, don't do it. I'm a notary. I can marry people now.
You can.
I can.
Have
yes.
you married anybody?
I have not.
What do you typically charge?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the first call for someone who. But I mean, most of the time, my notary stuff, I help anytime my clients need something. I just kind of do that for them. But
so you carry that seal around with you?
I don't carry it with me. It's in my office out at Exit right now. But if anybody
needs a road,
here's
call Chip Walters.
Now, see, last night, for a lot of folks know, some don't, that since I was in college, one of the things I do is a little side hustle is in side gigs is I've announced horse shows. I announced the celebration for 10 years.
Right.
And for the last several years, I've been one of the two announcers who do the international, and which the Walking Horse Owners Association started out at Old Fort Park, and now it's out at Miller Coliseum out on Thompson Lane. Last night, for the first time in 40 plus years of announcing horse shows, I was asked to be the straight man or the setup guy for a couple, for a gentleman, for a gentleman who his name is Jerry Dean. He was we had set it up where he and his girlfriend Katie Walgamuth, both of them are from Wisconsin. They were here for the horse show.
They're listening.
And so we had set it up where they were going to be giving ribbons in a class. So they're out there ready to give ribbons in the class, and I have the notes here. Oh, by the way, Katie, your boyfriend Jerry has a question to ask you. And so he goes down on one knee and asks her, pops the question. She says yes.
Okay.
She said yes. And so what I did not think of at the time was I should have offered my services as a notary, duly sworn by the state of Tennessee, that I could perform there. I could make it happen right then.
You were so excited about the moment, Chip.
I know. Yep, I was. But it all went down perfectly. There were no.
You've left yourself.
No monkey wrenches were thrown in. It all worked out the way that.
Did you ask for a tip or for doing the event?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did
Chip,
not.
Now that you've opened it up, that you're a notary, you're probably going to hear from me.
Well, from you? Well, there will be a charge.
Back in the day, hey, there's still people need things notarized.
Exactly, and I'll tell you who. When I got in real estate, I never even thought about that, but there are certain things you need notarized, and I was over looking at it was a house that was open a day or two before it was going to be auctioned,
right?
And I was going. I ran into Charlie Montgomery.
Oh, Charlie.
And he and I were talking about something because I'd had some clients. This was during COVID, where the husband was in the hospital and we needed something notarized, and I couldn't find a notary who would go in the hospital because he had COVID. And Charlie said, "You just need to get your notary license." And so I did that, and here we are. So thanks to Charlie Montgomery.
Charlie,
that was his good deed. The other deed, speaking of Charlie Montgomery, is I'm gonna enlist your services here, being MM3 that you are.
Okay.
We need to get Montgomery into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He's Monk Montgomery from Kittrell,
the greatest.
He still holds the state record for career scoring in high school,
like 4,000,
over 4,000 points. He is still the record holder. That is without the 3-point line. And what reminded me is you posted a picture
of him at LDAG
and two other guys out at Old Fox Run,
I remember,
or as we called it, Goat Run back in the days. And but
where Indian Hills is
today. And that's one of the few pictures I've seen of Monk. Didn't realize what a huge man
he was. Like 6'6" or so, 6'5". He played at Auburn.
Played at Auburn for a year, and then my memory of Monk was when I was in college. Monk had a store
dunking on you. No, I'm kidding.
He had a store out Halls Hill Pike, and
I remember it.
In those days in the early '80s, there were blue laws, and you could not purchase beverages on Sunday.
Packages.
Well, there was rumors that you could go in to that store, pick up a brown paper bag, put whatever you wanted in that paper bag, and it would get sold to you on Sunday. That's just a rumor. I have no personal knowledge of that. So
I didn't know that. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there you go.
But yes, I agree
that was
with
back
you.
in the day.
People would come from the from the hills of Cannon County and listen to WGNS. There was He was a legend, man.
That's right. There you go. All right, we need to take a break. Bill Wilson is the guest. More foolishness after this here on WGNS.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Turn to Turner Security.
Hey, it's Brian, and we've relied on Turner Security for systems here at WGNS and Big GTV for many years. Their advanced security solutions with real-time monitoring and automation keep us safe. Plus, their expert IT service ensures our tech runs smoothly, from networks, computers to troubleshooting. Their team tailors solutions to our needs, and I highly recommend them for home or business solutions for you.
Turn to Turner Security.
Are you tired of feeling like just another number with your insurance provider? At Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, Agent Rick Hall prides himself on offering personalized service that puts you first. Every client's needs are unique. From personal home and auto coverage to tailored business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, where you're more than just a policy number. You're a neighbor.
That brisket came from your cow, right?
Yep, raised her, named her, thanked her, and now she's dinner.
Rutherford County Farmers Market. There's something fresh every week. Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 to 1 at Lane Agro Park in Murfreesboro on John R. Rice Boulevard.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. This is Andy Jakes with Wilson Bank and Trust. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward.
Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there.
Whether you're a growing business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too.
Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
Join us this Saturday for Customer Appreciation Day at Steered Straight 2 Furniture and Thrift on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Enjoy store-wide discounts, spin the wheel, and stick around for live music and Kona Ice at 1. We've been blessed by your support, and this is our way of giving back. Can't make it Saturday? No worries, the sales continue Sunday too at Steered Straight 2 Furniture and Thrift, 1007 Dr. MLK Boulevard. See you there.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome into the Roundtable, final segment with Bill Wilson today. And if you missed any of this, and I'm sure you want to go back and listen and watch again on the podcast section of wgnsradio.com. Brian will have that up fairly quickly after we're done today. But do want to talk a little bit of business, and you've got a big auction coming up.
That's right, Chip. It's this Saturday. It's at 4623 Lebanon Road. Kind of picture in your mind where Cherry Lane is. There's a new extension going to 840.
Right.
Like across from the
VA.
VA.
Near the soccer park.
Yeah. You go past Cherry Lane about 1,500 feet or so. That's where the auction is going to be. So
on the left going out?
On the left
going out.
It's a beautiful ranch home, all brick, close to 3,000 square feet. So it's all one level. It sits on nearly 8 acres. It's got a huge workshop that you could store cars in. That's what this gentleman did back in the day. And it's heated and cooled. Mm-hmm. It's got an enclosed thing for an RV. It's got a office detached from that's heated and cooled, that has a bathroom. It could be an apartment. It could be an office. But it's the prettiest property I've seen in a long time. It's got a
pond on it.
A huge pond that's got it's about 13 feet deep, stocked, It's got there's a couple of wells on the property. It's got a pavilion with electricity for lights and ceiling fans and stuff, but it's on a concrete floor, great for a family reunion or a company picnic or whatever, just to get together, a nice party. But
how many acres is it?
8
acres. So,
and it's got good soil. So if a builder, and I hate to say a developer, a builder wants to look at it, or it'd be a great property
for a small development.
For maybe a small development, or if you want to build some homes with acreage, there's your opportunity. If you're moving here from wherever and you want to live in the house that's there now and then build your home, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But again, it's going this Saturday. Personal properties at 10. The house is at 11. Bob Buggs, the auctioneer, and come on out. Plenty of places to park. We'd love to have you out there.
10 o'clock.
4623 Lebanon Road. You can't miss it. Look for the Parks auction sign.
Yep, and there will be no shortage of signage out there. So there you got that going. Next Wednesday, this show will come to you from, we'll be live at MTSU. The old pro, Dick Palmer, is going to help me out next Wednesday. Next Wednesday at 9 a.m. is going to be the ribbon cutting of the new Steve and Denise Smith Athletic Performance Center, which is the new building in the north end zone, which is fabulous. And it is a $65 million building, 85,000 square feet on 3 floors. So put that on your calendar. You'll want to be there next Wednesday. We're going to carry the ribbon cutting ceremony live on this show and do some interviews. I'm going to be emceeing the event. So Mr. Palmer will kind of get the show started. Then he and I will be there to finish out the hour, talking to some of the folks.
That's awesome.
Yesterday was Conference USA football kickoff. Coach Mason, along with Nick Vattiato. And one of the things that, we're fortunate to have is one of the few Division I programs in the country to have a quarterback who has thrown for over 3,000 yards in back-to-back seasons coming back this year. So,
wow.
So
that's good.
And Parker Hughes, starting linebacker, was out there, and so they were in front of the media out in Dallas yesterday, and so we're about less than 40 days away from the home opener, Labor Day weekend. Austin P will be here. That'll be a 6 o'clock kickoff, and make your plans. I think it's going to be a much different look to the football team. And one thing, talking about their shortcomings a year ago and what they have done to the 62 new players on the roster this year. 62 new players on the roster. That is a lot. Something I wanted to mention, and you and I were talking about this earlier. This last weekend, went to the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That's one of the that's one of the events I really enjoy going to, because doing what I do, I've dealt with folks at campuses across the state, whether it's UT or Memphis or Vandy, wherever, because we just have friends that do what we do, and over the years I've had the opportunity to, at this event, to meet some really interesting people. 2 years ago, met Jerry Lawler,
the king.
But this past weekend, on Saturday, a guy named Randy Wilmore, who works for Farm Bureau Health Plans over in Columbia. He's a Tennessee Tech grad, but really good friend of mine. He is the first cousin to Butch Wilmore, who was one of the 2 astronauts that got stuck in the International Space Station
here recently
for 9 months. Well, Butch was named the Tennessean of the Year by the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
For patience and tolerance.
And so I go to the event this weekend, and I run into my friend Randy, and I got introduced and had the opportunity to meet Butch Wilmore, and he is a guy I'm working on trying to have him on this show.
You need to have him on.
So I don't know what kind of NASA clearances we're going to have to get or whatever, but that. Yeah. Doing what
awesome.
I do, that's cool. I don't get starstruck, but he was a guy that I knew was going to be there, and I just wanted to shake his hand and meet him and talk a little bit about
cool,
it. So
Chip.
yeah,
I think that would be awesome. What was it like being in space
for all that time?
What did you think?
I'll tell you what. Well, Mike Keith, they had a bunch of inductees and honorees, and so they, instead of speeches, they each honoree and came up, and Mike Keith did a quick interview with them. Well,
he's with the Volunteers.
He's
now.
He's with Tennessee now, and last week on the show we had Taylor Zarzer, the new Titans voice, on here. So Mike's been a guest on here. Brad Willis from the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. He comes on every year to talk about their class, and so anyway, that's how I knew Butch Wilmore was going to be there. But anyway, the thing that struck me was when Mike interviewed him and asking that question, what was it like? Butch just deflected everything away from him and talked about his family and how that for him that's
not going to see him again.
That's what that's what his training had been all about, was you train for those type of things, the unknown of what's going to happen. You try to figure that out. They were supposed to be there about a week, and they ended up being there 41 weeks, which I think that works out to about 9 months, something like that.
Baby man, boy,
That's right. And so that was the cool thing that I had over the weekend.
I hope you get him on here, whether it's live or calling in, whatever you can do to get him out. I think that would be great.
Yeah, we're going to do that. I've got several others who here in the future going to have Bart Gordon on.
Bart, that'll be a good
Bart
one.
Bart and I were trying to work out a date, and whether he's here in town or the other thing that has been and that for this show and others like it, that has been an unintended consequence of COVID, has been the Zoom call, and which allows you to have guests from wherever, and it sounds like
it's just not the same, is it?
Well, it's better than having them on the phone,
right?
So I like being able to have guests from wherever. Well, I had during the Olympics last year, we had a couple of people from Paris that were there at the Olympics. So
that's cool.
So we just try to pull those things together, and
you do
try to make things interesting. So it is what it is.
You've done it for a long time, and a Hall of Famer at that.
Well, seriously, they ran out of people apparently, but.
And I think what you had mentioned earlier, we've got to get Monk Montgomery in the Hall of Fame.
Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. We need to get him in. He's in. His time is in. I know that the Montgomery brothers have a lot of material, and I've got to get with them and get, because now is going to be the time to turn all that in.
Right.
So
let me know if I can help that.
What else is going on in your world,
man? Just real estate's, my 25th year.
Well, we're down to the last couple of minutes, and so I'll ask you the question that I always get: how's the market? Is there any? There's no way to really, in my opinion.
Interest rates aren't that good. I mean, but they're better than when I started in 2000, when they were hovering around 8 and 9%. So right now, I think they're 6 to 7, something like that.
Right.
You can buy the rate down. I mean, there's different ways. Just because you hear it's 6% doesn't mean it is 6%.
That's right. I'm trying to think in the last year and a half, once rates got there, I'm not sure that I've had any buyer client actually end up with a rate over 6, because they either bought it down themselves, or as a seller incentive, the seller bought the rate down for them to where it was in the 5s.
Right.
But I do think that that when the 30-year rate, when the first number is a 5,
yeah,
well, it could be 5.9.
Right.
It doesn't have to be 5.0. I think when that first number is a 5, psychologically,
people are
that it's going to unleash a bunch of folks who have been kind of waiting on the sidelines, waiting for something to happen.
It's ebb and flow. As long as we don't go back to 2008, 9, 10,
you're right.
That we're fine.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be good. The interest rate was what, 2 or 3%? That's unheard of. They were giving away money.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of those people are not going to be refinancing, or why are they going to sell unless it's...
Well, we had everybody that refinanced in 2021 and all that at 2.7 or whatever, they a lot of those folks who normally, due to all the D's, whether death, divorce, diapers, all those things, that would either
motivated.
They would either need to get a bigger house because of their family or downsize because they're empty nesters. They've been just holding on to what they have, and so that has, we're steady year to year as far as our county in the number of transactions that are taking place, things like that. But we're still down from where we were 2 years ago, a little bit.
And you have a lot more educated buyers. The whole. Get your buyer's rep agreement signed.
And that's a good, and to me, that's a great thing. And that's things that in my opinion, and what our training has been was that's what the good agents were doing anyway.
Right.
And having, having those getting that buyer agent agreement, it opens up everything that the agent can do for you as a client. It makes you a client instead of a customer.
Right. And you get it up front. You know exactly expectations.
Yeah.
And loyalty. But thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I finally made it. I feel like I think I could pass the white. No, just kidding. Yeah. I've made the chip.
Last week I was
coming back from Florida.
I called you on the phone. What was instead of saying hello, what did you say first?
I said, Chip, I'll do your show. Yes, thank you. You finally asked me. After, you'd been on my show a few times, but I'm not. Hey,
you're not keeping score.
No resentments here. No, I really appreciate you, brother.
Good deal. Well, thank you much for coming in. Again, next week we'll be live over on campus for the Smith Athletic Performance Center ribbon cutting of that new facility there. So tune in for that. We'll have some good guests over there, and some other stuff is on the burner right now. Next, stick with us all day here on the Big G, WGNS.